Dude, I'm telling ya, just focus on video making. I'll take care of the Rachel Ray situation. You're down by the river right now, right? Enjoy yourself. Focus on your videos. I'll take care of everything else. David? Hello? Hello?
Now, when I gave you guys the full power on what I'm gonna make this week, I expected something hard, something maybe expensive that'll take me a while, maybe a block of cream cheese or something. Not a triple-decker 6 different recipe video. I honestly forgot this video even existed, the one that Alvin made, just because I just flush these out of my memory as soon as I see them on my feed. But over 6,000 or 7,000 of you upvoted this one, the ultimate triple-decker cheesecake tower. God help me. And even though I did a little poll on my Instagram story asking if I was allowed to use some store-bought stuff, because in the video they used all store-bought stuff. All 3 cheesecakes, the brownie, cookie, and cake mix that was all bought from the store. And even though a few of you told me that I was allowed to do that, I know that the majority of you in the comments would not be happy, so I'm going to make 2 plain cheesecakes, a chocolate cheesecake, a red velvet cake, fudgy brownies, chocolate chip cookie dough, homemade buttercream icing. Let's get right into this. Now obviously, with that many things to make, we're gonna need a whole lot of ingredients to do so, and I don't want to bore you to death. I wasn't gonna show you any ingredients. You know what, because it's the main portion of this whole video, I'll show you what I'm using for the cheesecakes. I grabbed some flour and graham cracker crumbs, some sugar and chocolate chips, cinnamon, vanilla extract, eggs, butter, sour cream, and then the bane of my existence, a few blocks of cream cheese. Now this cheesecake recipe I'm following is supposedly the Cheesecake Factory's recipe. I won't be able to verify that because I've never tried it. I also think this is the first cheesecake I've ever made in my life, so there's a momentous occasion for you all to celebrate. I started with making enough graham cracker crust for all 3 of my cheesecakes. Obviously 2 plain and 1 chocolate. I used a measuring cup to kind of stamp down the graham crackers and then popped them in the freezer to fully solidify while we prepare all of the fillings. I'm feeling like today is going to be the truest test of how durable these stand mixers are, because I'm pretty much going to make every single recipe using this in some capacity. So let's see how this thing holds up, even though I'm sure it'll be amazing. Like I said, this is my favorite kitchen utensil now. Every time I watch somebody make one of these things, it just disgusts me even more. Who decided they were gonna put a little bit of eggs and sugar in cream cheese and then just eat spoonfuls of it? Cheesecake is just 95% baked cream cheese. I will never, for the life of me, understand the appeal of this. We can't forget about the chocolate cheesecake, which I actually might be able to eat and not gag, because it's actually equal parts cream cheese to melted chocolate chips, so it shouldn't be too bad. Outside of those proportions, pretty much everything else is the same as the last recipe we did. So once this was looking pretty good as well, I tossed it down in my 3rd and final pan and then baked that off too. My first 2 didn't look too bad. I was pretty happy I did let them cool at room temperature for quite a while. Shortly after that, I pulled my chocolate cheesecake out, which looks just as good, if not better. And now we can begin the 3 other recipes. I'm gonna start with the chocolate chip cookies because this will probably be the easiest. It's also the bottommost layer, so the first one that we're gonna stack. I don't think I've mentioned, every recipe that I'm using for each component of this, I will leave down in the description so you can follow along. I'm sure 0% of you will try to make this at home, but just for the heck of it, it'll be down there. Once my cookie dough was looking good and I was sneaking raw bits out of the bowl to eat, I set it aside and worked on what I'm most excited for in this whole thing, the brownies, because I'm using, you can probably guess, the best fudgy brownies. This is maybe the 7th or 8th time I've made this recipe on this channel. But you guys aren't sick of the same recipe over and over and over again, or when I make too many sweets, so I ask you guys what you want to see, and then you suggest me a triple cheesecake with cookie dough and brownie mix, and anyways, the only thing I changed with this brownie batter is that I didn't include any chocolate chunks just because I think they'll get in the way when I'm trying to spread this smooth. So I set that aside and worked on the final recipe of the day, some red velvet cake. Because the recipe I'm following supposedly fills 2 9-inch cake pans, I'm gonna half this recipe. And this one was very interesting. You basically mix red food coloring with cocoa powder and oil, and then you finish it with buttermilk. I don't think I've ever made a recipe like this, but again, it'll be down in the description if you bakers out there want to go verify that it's legit for me. And now that my 3 additional outer layers were ready to go, I started to chuck them together. First with the cookie dough and my first plain cheesecake. I was very nervous pulling these cheesecakes out because normally the springform pans are meant to be able to pull them out easier. But once I ran a knife around the sides, they actually popped out really easily. I tossed layer number 1 into the oven. I have no idea what the temperature or the cooking times on all of these are gonna be. I'm just gonna try to eyeball stuff and see how it comes out. Usually when I say that, stuff doesn't go well, but maybe today will be different. Next, I wanted to do the red velvet cake just because it's got some leaveners in it and I don't want it sitting out forever. So I used my second plain cheesecake and plopped it down in there. And as I threw that one into the oven, I pulled my cookie dough out. It actually came out of the springform pan pretty easily, and it looks okay. The top kind of fooled me because the bottom seems a bit underdone still. So I'll pop it in the oven for a few more minutes and work on everything else. Lastly is our brownie chocolate cheesecake mess. And fun fact, it got so late when I was filming this, I had to throw everything in the fridge, bring it all home, and it is now day 2. That's why I'm back in my old kitchen. And finally, at long last, all 3 of our layers are baked and looking decent. So that must mean we're almost done, right? No, we still have to make a homemade buttercream. In the video, Alvin makes a cream cheese frosting, but that is where I draw the line. There's already 3 cheesecakes and 6 blocks of cream cheese in this. I refuse. I'm making a very standard homemade buttercream. It's one of my favorite recipes to make. It always comes out great. And now that that is finally done, we can throw stuff together. Layer number 1, the cookie dough and plain cheesecake. I left the bottom right on this, so that'll be easier to transport. Layer number 2, the brownie and chocolate cheesecake. Spreading very thin layers of my buttercream in between each one of these. And finally, I flipped my red velvet upside down, peeled that parchment paper off, and tried to ice the whole thing. I just barely had enough frosting to do this. Will he be able to cut through this whole mess is the real question. And shockingly I was. It wasn't too difficult. Filming this video to this point has so far taken me 19 hours, many pounds of butter and cream cheese, and here we are. Normally, when videos take me hours upon hours, I don't mind it. Usually it's for a good recipe or I know it's gonna be for a good video. Not cheesecake. The layers aren't too bad. I would say you can't really tell where the brownie starts and the chocolate cheesecake stops. But besides that, it looks pretty good. Do I really have to try all 3 of these components too? I know you're all screaming yes, so here we go. Mmm, so good. As you may guess, my first instinct is to complain. But the cookie dough actually masks the cream cheese pretty well. That seems like a pretty good cookie dough recipe to make one of those big cookie cakes with, so I'll keep that one in mind. Round 2, undercooked brownie and chocolate cheesecake. I don't even have to try the last one. This part's the winner. This tastes like a cross between chocolate fudge and chocolate mousse, and oh my god, it's good. I should have made just 3 layers of that and cooked the brownie all the way through. And here's the final round. Has the most defined layers, I'd say, so. Too much cheesecake in that one. Ugh. That's just like a cream cheese bomb. I'm not even gonna bother rating this because it would be very biased. I will say, don't waste your time making all 3 of these. Pick a layer that you think you would like the most and just make that. I think that would probably be the best option. I hope you guys enjoyed today's very long video. If you did, slap a like on this one for me. I'm gonna probably do next week's video as a poll. Don't be too mad. I need at least a few more weeks before I do that top comment thing again. But follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you don't already. Other than that, have an awesome weekend. I will see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't pay me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.
I'm tangled. I don't know what that was. Like stuck on my finger. These bugs! I don't know which way to drop it.
Just like, drop it.
Help it goes on.
Oh my god, you scared me.
Ready?
Is that good?
Yeah.